Yes. Monday Night Raw. Let's talk about it. First, a little bit of news and notes. Not much, however. I'm not going to go too deeply into it. One, note, Bobby Roode has been removed from the active WWE roster, which is not a surprise. The guy broke his neck and he was almost 40 when that happened. So he had a good career. Nice long run in TNA. Didn't quite reach the heights that maybe he should have in WWE, but he's a backstage producer now, so he'll have a job. And I really wish that he'd come to WWE when he was younger. You know, I just wish that he could have gotten a chance. All right. After that, PW Insider confirmed that Endeavor has empowered Triple H to be lead of WWE Creative. It says PW, this is from a tweet, PW Insider, there's a belief within WWE that Vince McMahon is no longer involved with the creative end of things and that Triple H has been basically knighted by Endeavor. And he's the one who is driving 99% of the creative going forward, not Vince McMahon. Quote, kind of feel like there will be a tug of war and sometimes Vince will give his thoughts and they'll go with what Vince wants. But I'm told that week to week in the weeds, they are going with what Triple H wants. Oh my God. It took you 8 months. For starters, Triple H has been running the company for over a year. That's the first thing. Second, when Vince came back, he used almost these exact words. He's going to be involved with creative, but he's not going to be in the weeds. So you mean to tell me that back in April is when they told you this? Triple H has been running the company for over a year. But back in April, when Vince and Nick Khan and pretty much everybody told you Triple H was running the company, you didn't believe them. Now all of a sudden, PW Insider tells you, and you're like, hallelujah, we're going to start throwing babies in the air. Are you retarded? You have to be, right? These people already told you what was going on. You didn't want to believe them, but you want to believe them now. That's crazy. That's unreal that the dirt sheets have to confirm what we already know. Anyway, that was all the news and notes that we got, really. Let's get into Monday Night Raw. Seth Rollins starts the show. He's wearing high heels and a see-through shirt. Oh, my God. Let's try to truncate this a little bit. He starts talking about when the adrenaline wears off, his back is still very much broken. It's been an honor to be the World Heavyweight Champion. He used past tense to try to stoke some sympathy. Then he says that he's just getting started. He says, but he wants to go one Monday without fighting for his life. Drew McIntyre comes out there. Him and Drew have a little bit of a stare down. Drew clearly wants a championship match. Seth Rollins says that he's willing to fight anyone and anywhere, and he'll even fight Drew McIntyre tonight. Drew McIntyre says, nope, crown jewel, because he wants Seth Rollins at 100%. Seth Rollins is not used to that. He's sort of being very coy. Oh, my opponents usually attack me from behind. And Drew McIntyre's like, I don't need to do that. I'm not going to. So once Seth Rollins accepts, Drew leaves. And then Seth Rollins is attacked from behind by Damian Priest. So after he beats up Seth Rollins, he waits for the briefcase to be brought to him by a bumbling Dominic Mysterio, who has the briefcase in his hands. And then Drew McIntyre, who is watching Damian Priest kick the crap out of Seth Rollins, he actually stops Dominic, grabs the briefcase, and chucks it. At that point, Damian Priest loses control of the fight, and Seth Rollins beats him up. Later on, Damian Priest is strangling JD McDonough because JD McDonough hit him in the knee with the briefcase yesterday. At the pay-per-view. So he's absolutely strangled. This is the first chokehold I've seen a guy get put into in WWE for a long time. This JD McDonough is getting strangled here. Balor is upset at JD McDonough too, but Rhea Ripley says that they got them a rematch for the tag team titles, and she also wants JD McDonough to go prove himself in a match against Drew McIntyre. He lost that match, by the way. And why is Dominic Mysterio JD McDonough's stooge? Why is he everybody's stooge? He's like the bumbling usher or something like that. He always seems to mess everything up. I don't know how Dominic, he is not a good henchman at all. He is a less than standard henchman. Anyway, Damian Priest wants to break JD McDonough in half, but also wanted to wish him luck at destroying Drew McIntyre because he wanted to do that. He failed in that mission, by the way. Seth Rollins was upset at Drew McIntyre for not helping him. Drew McIntyre says he only cares about things that affect him and his business, and the Money in the Bank affected him and his business. That all he cared about was not wanting to give Judgment Day the numerical advantage of protecting the world title, much like the Bloodline did. Well, Seth Rollins said you ain't got to worry about that because Judgment Day couldn't take the belts, and neither can he. So that was essentially the World Heavyweight title story right there. Drew McIntyre is trying to play defense, but making a lot of sense in terms of not really wanting to get involved with Judgment Day. Also trying to protect his investment of the world title match at Crown Jewel. All that's fine. Damian Priest not having his own briefcase? Like, what's up with that, bro? Like, why does Dominic have to bring him this briefcase? Why didn't he have the briefcase himself? That's a logic hole right there, but whatever. That was essentially the world title picture for the night, as they're setting up the eventual heel turn for Drew McIntyre. All right, first match on the show, Kofi Kingston versus Ivar, Viking Rules. This match was actually not terrible, but I kind of didn't care. A couple of big spots, though, when Kofi Kingston yanked Ivar off the top rope through that table. Man, I thought that guy was legitimately hurt. And, of course, the moonsault finish. I'm telling you, that Ivar, he's a lot more impressive than I'm willing to give him credit for. I don't care about a Kofi Kingston match. Kofi Kingston's become like wallpaper, you know? You see him, he's there, but he hasn't done anything of note in a really, really, really long time. Shinsuke Nakamura is backstage. He's being questioned about what's next for him after he failed to win the world title. He never gets to answer the question because he gets attacked by Ricochet, who called him a coward. Then they get separated by officials and such. Ricochet is set up for an Intercontinental Championship #1 contenders match. He's not going to make it to that match 100% because Shinsuke Nakamura attacked him during his entrance and hit him with a GTS, well, a different version of the GTS, which jammed his knee into Ricochet's throat. So Ricochet has to wrestle the match with a slightly perturbed throat. It didn't matter much because they didn't play into the storyline at all. Bronson Reed, Chad Gable, and Ricochet, #1 contender for the Intercontinental Championship. Chad Gable is getting chopped in the chest by Otis before the match to prepare his chest and body to fight Gunther again. Bronson Reed, who is big Bronson Reed, I was told, but they mean big as in wide, not big as in tall, because when he stood up to Chad Gable, they were the exact same height. He's like, Bronson Reed has an equator, not a waist. Anyway, Bronson Reed says he's not going anywhere near the Intercontinental title. And this match is actually pretty good. I'm kind of sick of triple threat matches. I don't need them, but it's their way of trying to protect certain matches and protect certain guys. There were some good spots in here. For instance, the Chad Gable full Nelson suplex of Ricochet onto Bronson Reed. Pretty cool. The finish comes with Bronson Reed hitting the tsunami on Ricochet. So Bronson Reed will be wrestling Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship next week on Monday Night Raw, because Gunther is not allowed to wrestle on pay-per-view. He only has to wrestle on Monday Night Raw. So he's like a Raw exclusive, I guess. This is a heel versus heel match. Don't know why they chose to do that, but they chose to do it, so here we are. Ricochet, after losing the Intercontinental Championship #1 contenders match, is backstage calling out Shinsuke Nakamura. Adam Pearce has had Nakamura removed from the building because he was obviously a troublemaker. He's obviously a problem. But he set up the match for next week, Shinsuke Nakamura versus Ricochet. So we really are going to the Tony Khan school of booking, where we're going to have some kind of no disqualification match every single goddamn week. You know, we're going to have some flavor of no disqualification pretty much every week. Oh, hey, Zeus in heaven. Well, this is at least what they got prepared for Nakamura. At least it was something. You know, it's not the greatest thing in the world, but at least he didn't fall off a cliff and disappear. Ricochet eating that pin from Tsunami though was interesting. Now they're protecting Chad Gable. He didn't lose, but he didn't win either. So they prolonging his story. I don't know how they plan to get him back in the title picture and back in the conversation though. All right, second match on the show, Nia Jax versus Raquel Rodriguez. A match I actually enjoyed. I know a lot of people are going to be like, what is with you and Nia Jax? Look, she's girl Big Show. She's not great. But if you put her in there with somebody who's bigger and you could act, who is big, I'm sorry, and you could actually tell a story with it. For instance, they did several clotheslines with Raquel Rodriguez where she didn't bump Nia Jax, but she did hit the ropes, came back with a clothesline, and then Nia Jax bounced off the rope into a big boot, and it got like a pretty good reaction because she hadn't knocked Nia Jax off her feet the whole match. It's that kind of storytelling that you can only do between people who are somewhat equal size. You know, the idea that, you know, Raquel Rodriguez got really over for powerbombing Nia Jax, even though it wasn't like she picked her up straight up, she picked her up off the ropes. That kind of stuff can help Raquel because when she's a big girl, it's hard to get sympathy when you're bigger than most of your opponents. So if you fight somebody who is just as big or if not bigger, then you can work from underneath. This is why, you know, a lot of Hogan liked having like Earthquake and Andre the Giant and Sid and all those people to work with. They were bigger than he was. You know, it's hard to get sympathy on a big person. So Raquel Rodriguez can actually get something out of working with Nia Jax, which is why I liked it. All right, Rhea Ripley got the match thrown out because she attacked them. She was out here to, quote, get her division in order. So as they all started to fight each other, Shayna Baszler came out there and started fighting Nia Jax. Rhea and Shayna Baszler got into each other's faces, and then Shayna Baszler German suplexed Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley then huffed and puffed and went to Adam Pearce and demanded to fight Shayna Baszler next week. The season premiere of Monday Night Raw, if you hadn't noticed. This is the season finale of Monday Night Raw. When was the season finale? If they're having a season premiere, shouldn't they have a season finale? When was their mid-season? Look, I'm not going to go too far with that. I'm overthinking it. Next, the Yeet Boys were out there, Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso. And look, Cody ain't slick. I already know what's going on with Cody. Cody is pulling a John Cena. He's pulling a Hulk Hogan. As soon as somebody gets over, he starts palling around with them. Oh, Sami Zayn was super over back in February. Cody was standing right there with him and trying to put some shine on him and all that kind of stuff. Now Jey Uso's the guy and Cody standing right there photo bombing. This is classic WWE super babyface booking when the Randy Savage is the champion, Hulk Hogan is his tag team partner. Ultimate Warrior is the champion, Randy Savage is his tag team partner. They won't let the guys run on their own. They got to put somebody else with them for some reason, who they view as a bigger star. Anyway, Michael Cole was being a dick in this interview, basically asking Cody, like, are you content now? Are you going to fall short just like your daddy? And Cody wants to talk about anything other than the story. You know, he's happy to be a tag team champion. And before he goes any further, Sami Zayn's heel theme starts to play. And Sami Zayn comes out there with Kevin Owens. He actually notes that he hasn't heard that theme in a long time, which is an interesting way of noting that they played the wrong theme, which was hilarious. Sami Zayn says still he has a story that he wants to talk about. That's him and Kevin Owens winning the tag team championships in the main event of WrestleMania. Then he says he's happy for them. Congratulations to them. But he's got mixed emotions because it should be them that should be the tag team champions. Kevin Owens has no mixed emotions that it should be them because, of course, he still doesn't like Jey Uso. And he says he wants a tag team title match tonight. Cody Rhodes accepts, and the match is made. So the main event of the evening, Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn for the tag team championships. An actual fun match. They dared to do a hot tag in a match with two baby faces. So they kind of made Zayn and Owens the heel, you know, because Cody is like the super baby face on the roster. Okay. They played Sami Zayn's right theme this time, which worked out for everybody. But it was a fun match. It was solid as hell. Can't complain too much. It was fresh. I wish they had saved it a little bit. But I guess they kind of had to get Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn out of the way. But since they're wrestling Judgment Day again next week, oh my God, I expected Judgment Day to interfere in this match and was surprised when they didn't. The finish comes from the Cody Cutter 1D or the Cody 1D or whatever, which Cody almost broke his own neck on because he got a little overexcited, which is typical Cody. When he gets a little overexcited, he puts himself more in danger than anything. So Kevin Owens takes the pinfall, and then everybody actually shakes hands at the end because everybody are friends here. But the story, of course, is that Jey Uso and Kevin Owens actually shook hands, and they had gotten into it earlier in the night. Jey Uso also got into it with Drew McIntyre earlier in the night, too. He said he got 5 minutes for Drew. I was like, oh boy, only 5? What if he needs 6? What if he needs 5.5? Anyway, fun main event, actually. Didn't hate the main event. Kind of liked it, actually. Next, Becky Lynch is backstage shilling her garbage book. And you know that book garbage because WWE going to be involved with it. So you know it's going to be edited to all hell. Just like all WWE release books are. It's going to be shisa, which I'm still probably going to try to find out and read it. I probably not pay for it, but I might try to find and read it. She's confronted by Xia Li, who I don't know how long she's been in this country, but I still didn't understand what she said. I think she said something to the effect of, when will it be Xia Li's time? And then basically letting you know that Becky Lynch is going to win this match and Xia Li is going to be next. So this leads us to Tegan Nox. They showed a vignette that made her sound painfully boring. She blew out her ACL shortly after signing her WWE contract, made a big return, blew it out again, and has been dealing with confidence issues ever since. She's been through a lot, setbacks and disappointments, but she's here to win now, and it's her time. I'm like, oh, brother. While she's backstage, Tegan Nox is like, I want to fight the best version of Becky Lynch. He's going to get the best version of Tegan Nox. I'm like, oh, my God. Oh, say something interesting. She's got this color-coded hair. I don't know what any of this crap means. And then here comes Natalya. Natalya comes out there. Says that Tegan Nox was born to do this. Oh, my God. Why is she out there? Why is she present? What do we need her for? Oh, she sucks. Anyway. Tegan Nox goes to the ring, wrestles Becky Lynch, and taps the hell on out. People say that this match was great. It was alright, I guess. Becky Lynch has certainly had better matches. I don't know if Tegan Nox has. There was a lot of color in this match because Tegan Nox was very, very colorful. You ask anybody who watched this match what Tegan Nox's character is, what her gimmick is, nobody knows. So we're in this situation where she got her maybe 12 minutes in the sun, and now what? Now what for Tegan? You did all this, she tapped out, now what? Now what? So after the match, Tegan Nox is backstage disappointed in herself for submitting. Natalya wants to give her all the credit for fighting, and she's like, I lost, leave me alone. So then, out of nowhere, Chelsea Green shows up to rub it in that she got an opportunity and she tapped on out. Natalya got into Chelsea Green's face. Chelsea Green threatened her with Piper Niven beating her up. Casey Squared was also there. I don't know why, but they were. So I guess they were trying to create a tag team thing here with Tegan Nox and Natalya being a tag team. But let me tell you why that's a bad idea. It involves Natalya. If it involves Natalya, bad. Natalya is so stale. Or if you went to like a donut shop, your favorite donut shop, and you smell the fresh donuts and you're like, I want 13 of them. Give me a baker's dozen. You go in there, you get your box, you open it up. They all nice honey glazed and powdered just like you like it, and then you find one covered in moss. All right? And you're like, wait a minute. Why is this one stale moss-covered donut in here with all my fresh donuts? That's Natalya. She is your moss-covered donut in your box of fresh donuts. Everybody on this roster that I've looked at so far has been a somewhat fresh donut, with the exception of fucking Natalya. She's been there since like 2006. She needs to go away. You need to tie her to a rocket like something out of Looney Tunes and fire her ass into the sun. Why is she still hanging around here? Do she not have anything better to do? Don't she got like cats to potty train or something? I mean, do whatever you got to do to get rid of her, man. Just do whatever it takes. Next, DIY had a promo with Wade Barrett. It wasn't very good. Where they talked about this reunion being 7 years in the making, and they were NXT Tag Team of the Year or Tag Team Champions or whatever kayfabe shit they were talking about. And then all of a sudden, they said the fans made them undeniable. And then they got their shit kicked in by Imperium. They were attacked by Giovanni Vinci and Ludwig Kaiser, who then promptly beat them up in the locker room, and Wade Barrett ran scared, which was pretty humorous. All right, so Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell went to Adam Pearce because he was very concerned with them. And then Rhea Ripley kicked them out because Rhea Ripley is running the division. She demanded to fight Shayna Baszler next week, and she's going to get the match. So they lead in towards something with Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell wanting to fight Rhea Ripley. Oh, brother. Okay, I guess if you got these people on the roster, you should do something with them. But DIY versus Imperium, okay, cool. Very cool, though. The Ludwig Kaiser vignette, it was the best thing on Monday Night Raw. It was about 40 seconds where he compared himself to epic paintings like or epic artists like Michelangelo and Leonardo, and an epic painting like the Mona Lisa. Says that he's an A+ talent, an A+ in aesthetics. He is an A+ superstar. European elegance. I love this. This was so good. Just the look of disdain that he has for other people is fantastic. It literally makes him jump off the screen. This is what I mean when I tell people to focus on characters. If you don't need to invest 45 minutes into trying to figure out what Ludwig Kaiser's character is, just show people that 40-second vignette. You'll get the humor of it. You'll get his voice as he explains who he is and what he is. And if you don't like it, you can move on. But if you do, you want to see more of him. And I've been pointing at this Ludwig Kaiser guy since when they was in NXT. Matter of fact, when he was in NXT UK, he just has an absolutely perfect look for a revamped version of William Regal. Except for he's in better shape, he's younger, and he's not into drugs. This guy has the tools to be a main event act. And he's humorous. He's funny. You know, he doesn't take himself too seriously. I'm not sure how long I would like for him to be in Imperium before he kind of goes off on his own. But I know he's not ready to go off on his own yet. Not ready for Imperium to break up yet. But I am interested in you highlighting him a little bit more. You know, giving him more of a spotlight. I like that. So that was Monday Night Raw. This was actually the best episode of Monday Night Raw in a long time, if we're being honest. Fresh matches. We were not drowned in Judgment Day. We're moving on from what felt like mid-card stuff with Seth Rollins. He's still not dressing appropriately for the job, but whatever. Gunther is going to be back next week, so that's going to work. Now, we still got some stale donuts running around here with, you know, Kofi and Natalya. I'm not saying get rid of Kofi. Remix Kofi. He needs to do something else. All right? This New Day thing is just not working out. I'm tired of it. It's stale. It needs to go away. But Natalya, boy, nothing needs to go away quite like Natalya. Drew McIntyre is very interesting right now. The Intercontinental Championship scene is different. Heel versus heel with Gunther versus Bronson Reed. Chad Gable continues, you know, his upward momentum. He still looked good here, even though he lost. The women's division gets a lot more exposure now, which is good. They seem to actually care a little bit more about the women's division now. Rhea Ripley's interacting more with the girls. And Nia Jax, again, she adds something. She adds a certain level of threat. Now, I'm not sure if Shayna Baszler is going to be the right opponent for Rhea Ripley. It's also not a title match, so that makes it very strange. But Shayna Baszler, she hasn't done anything since she got rid of Ronda Rousey. If she'd have fought Rhea Ripley immediately afterwards, I think people might have been a little bit more interested. But Shayna Baszler's an also-ran. People just don't take her seriously. She's not over. So that's going to be an interesting scenario. But they're looking at maybe a triple threat fatal four-way for Crown Jewel in the girls division. Not thrilled about that. I can tell you that much. Not thrilled. The women's tag team division is even worse. If it wasn't for Chelsea Green, I probably wouldn't even pay that shit no attention. Look, Piper Niven is fine and all, but she's just not given enough time on television for me to care too much about what she's doing. When it comes to Judgment Day, however, we do have to ask the question, how patient is Damian Priest really going to be? Because he tried to murder JD McDonough, which is good, because he did hit him in the knee with a briefcase. But how many times could these things be foiled and screwed over before he finally just says has enough and leaves? I mean, it's gotta be enough's enough at some point, right? And it seems like they want to turn Damian Priest babyface, but they haven't just did it yet. Because it seems that's the direction that we're going here. Is Damian Priest is going to end up being the guy who goes babyface in this situation. And he probably will end up getting kicked out of Judgment Day, if anything. Ricochet and Nakamura, it's fine. It's okay. It's good. It's better for Ricochet than Nakamura, if we're being honest, because Ricochet gets to go up. He hasn't done anything since SummerSlam and his matches with Logan Paul, so he needs this. Nakamura really doesn't, but since he's been reheated, I guess everything's fine. Xia Li and Becky Lynch, okay. I said this was going to be the problem, that once you get your 15 minutes of fame with Becky Lynch, what's next for you? For Tegan Nox, it ended up being a tag team with Natalya, which is career seppuku at this point, It's over. She's never going to get back to this point again. Everything Natalya touches turns to rust and dies. So I don't think it's going to work very well for young Tegan Nox. Hopefully her ACLs survive the experience. But overall, though, as a episode that reset Monday Night Raw, where they can finally do something different, it felt fresh. It felt like things were moving. It didn't drag too much. So, honestly, didn't hate this episode of Monday Night Raw. What did you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. Like, share, subscribe. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out. Yay!
MagMongoSlade. Best house I ever drew, Daddy.